Alright, I'm making a response video, sort of, to a few different things, but this stupid Keane made a video. Again, it's here, there it is. And, so he's defending the amazing atheist, which he doesn't provide anything called a defense of any kind of the arguments actually made. But he's just so fucking stupid. I mean, you know, I'll play the clips where, you know, it's obvious I'm talking about the amazing atheist made a video before the interview happened. 2 days before, whatever. And he even talked about it in the Drunken Peasants because the show was like a half hour, an hour late because TJ decided to make his video when the show was supposed to be on. Anyway, like that makes sense. Regardless. And so Keane obviously knew that. He made a half-hour video on atheism. And yes, that's what I was referencing. Brett, you idiot. As I pointed out, the interview was nothing. There was not much to it. Yeah, not much to comment on, because it was nothing. It was like, don't you hate it when you get so fat your shoes don't fit anymore? I mean, yeah, I hate it. Anyway, you get mouth sores from sticking your tongue in Jesus Freak's anus. Those kind of questions. Anyway, well, we'll play a little bit of this just because it's just, this creature is just so disgusting. I mean, it's just, you know, I mean, Brett, yeah, you know, this whole idea of doing an interview with you, why would I do that? Unless you want to just ask a bunch of questions like, you know, what do you think, you know, Jesus Freak's anus tastes like? Because, see, you would know the answer, I wouldn't. So I would say something like, I don't know, I don't know, frog feet. Yeah, something. And you'd say, no, I know the answer because my tongue has been there many times. So anyway, that kind of thing. But otherwise, yeah, I have no interest, you asshole. You want to just talk about how Jesus Freak is a crook? I mean, how he absolutely has no financial problems. You know, none. And is really quite middle class and is happy to be a capitalist and all of that kind of stuff. And that there was no need to go solicit money beyond the need that comes from somebody who's a glutton or a crook. Let's just make my bills sympathetic, and therefore somebody else will pay for them. I mean, you know, I guess I could somehow, maybe I could take my, you know, rent or something and I could turn it into a little happy character, and then I could put it on the internet and say, well, please help the happy character stay happy. It's threatened by the awful blah blah blah, and I could make up a little story about how that bill needs to be paid for some kind of tragic, horrible reason that somehow needs you to pay for it rather than me. See, that kind of thing. But see, even that wouldn't work because I actually am poor. So I couldn't necessarily solicit money in some kind of dishonest way because I'm poor. Where Jesus Freak isn't poor. And he just got other people to pay for his problems, his responsibilities. I mean, isn't that just so typical of these, you know, these misogynist, you know, anti-SJW types? Just evade responsibility for the mess you make. Steal from the poor. Give to the crooks. And, you know, that's all you are, Brett. So you're just taking, you're taking the little Jesus cross, and that's just your Jesus porn. You know, you're just selling Jesus porn on the internet and making money. And it doesn't really matter. You were selling atheist porn. It doesn't. Everything's just some sort of porn for you to sell because that's all you are. Is a filth purveyor, a lie purveyor, just a con artist. You're just, everything that comes out of your fucking mouth is a fucking con. You fucking despicable creep. So I don't know why you think there's anything for us to talk about except how big a despicable creep you are. And how fucking stupid you are. So anyway. Well, I mean, I guess you'll argue I'm smart enough to fool all the suckers. Yeah, well, yes, the fact that there are people stupider than you, well, okay, I'll concede the fact. But that doesn't make it any different. That doesn't change anything. It really doesn't. Bad on you still. Taking advantage of retards is, you know, that's kind of some kind of exploitation, you know, obviously. So let's just play a second of it. I don't know what he says in the beginning here, but he just goes on and he doesn't make a single argument. Just this rags about whether I take a shower or not, coming from this pig. I mean, just absolute bullshit, and even a little shot at my agoraphobia, which is kind of funny, from this guy who wants other people to understand his condition. Yeah. I mean, just more of the obvious insincerity and duplicity of this fucking piece of shit. Oh, god damn.
Gentlemen, my name is Brett Keane.
Yeah, it's like we all know that. Alright, so yeah, that's the video, really. It's just the Brett Keane show. Let's just jump ahead a little bit, see if he says.
Before I go on to doing something very unusual, such as defending the amazing atheist...
Yeah, you really don't defend anything here. You just... I mean, if in a sense you think you're... Just as you can't speak for Jesus because you don't necessarily believe a single thing he preached, you also can't in any way defend the amazing atheist because first you don't even understand the complexity of the argument, and yeah, you're not smart enough. That's the simplest truth.
Which I know a lot of people are going to be surprised at me doing this.
Well, you're not going to do it in any kind of any way with any kind of like wit or integrity, and like nothing intellectual. So I mean, you're just going to make TJ look stupid if you think TJ would make as dumb an argument as you. But maybe he would, because you really don't have a defense. Oh, so I'll also point out he quote mines my video here where, you know, especially at the end, it's so obvious. He didn't play the last 2 minutes of my video where I point out how the beautiful God's beautiful creation kills. Most of the things that die on this planet are children. So that's the beautiful world we live in, is that most of the things kill their children. Yes, because God is so wise and he's so intelligent in how he designed the world. Yes, it's just beautiful. Kill the children. And that's the truth of it. Do you have a response, Brett? Huh? I don't think so.
I do want to get after Gary about a video he put up from a couple of years ago where he was talking shit about my wife.
No, I wasn't talking shit about your wife. I was responding to her shit. She makes a public video, again, with my name in it, and it was just a steaming piece of crap, and I have a right to respond to it. And you know, when you want to claim your wife is too retarded to take responsibility for the tripe she puts on the internet, well, go ahead and say that, alright? Go ahead and say, well, look, you shouldn't, you know, ridicule my wife's terrible and dismal performance because she's actually retarded. I mean, she has to have somebody always tell her what to do. Like I just did again when we both became Christians at the same exact time. What a surprise. And why did that happen? Well, because big old Brett said, you're going to be a Christian now, okay, bitch? Isn't that what happened? That's our new racket. Oh, that was another thing in the Amazing Atheist interview. He actually just kind of described how he's just doing that. He's just looking, now right now he's like, oh, well, this whole anti-SJW thing is like becoming irrelevant, so I'm looking for the next big thing. You know, he wants to be right in on the next big controversy. You know, I want to, yeah, pick a side, and certainly I'm going to pick the side that's the most controversial, obviously. You know, I don't want to be just talking, you know, herd, you know, and Borg, so I'll just pick the anti-side and I'll contrive some dumbass arguments to justify it. Just so I can be controversial and such, because that's what the dumbasses feed on. Ugh. But yeah, it was a little bit, more of the insincerity of these fucking creeps. Just layers of them. All with their little tongues in each other's fat asses. Ugh. Gross. So yeah, there's nothing else to say here, but this was a little funny. If you really believe you're smarter than Amazing Atheist, I mean, you know, TAA, you know, that acronym is just kind of famous. And why would somebody be too stupid not to just the Amazing Atheist, to make it just sound right? Smarter than the Amazing Atheist. Amazing Atheist doesn't really sound like John Funkenheimer. I mean, it doesn't really sound like a name, without the "the." It just doesn't work, idiot. So he didn't even read this crap, but he probably didn't type it either. Then let me interview you. Why? I've made over 4,000 videos, Brett. Long videos explaining what I believe and what I think. I really don't need to be interviewed because I've already answered all those questions that matter. And then you could ask me some stupid questions and irrelevant questions, but frankly, I could just watch your interview with TJ and just answer the same stupid questions. Couldn't I? Do I need you to do it? Hey Gary, what's it like when your feet get fat and you can't put them in your shoes anymore? I think, no, I've never had that problem. There, see, that's how easy it would be. So what do I need you for, dumpy? Alright, anyway, so let's just to point out to Brett, because he can't pay attention, it's too much trouble to get the facts right. Yeah, regarding the Amazing Atheist. So, we'll do this one. Pay attention, Brett.
So I watched one of his videos, and I watched this stupid.
Okay, so I watched one of his videos, and I know I said that fast, but that's what I said. I watched one of his videos, and then I watched. You see, that's what I said. Pay attention.
So I watched one of his videos, and I watched this stupid fucking...
Okay, you hear that? And then again I say, later.
But in his video, at least he does, okay? He has a little...
So, in his video, at least he does. So I was saying, in the interview, he doesn't say anything, but in his video, he does. You see? That's referring to the Amazing Atheist video. Not your stupid, lame, fucking interview that was useless, but the video TJ made. The one he was late for the show because he made. The one on the subject of atheism, you dumb fuck. And that's what this is a response to. That's why I'm standing up. You see, I'm standing up making the video because I'm doing it TJ style. You see, the Amazing Atheist style. You dumbass. Alright, so that's enough of that. So, I think there was a couple other minor little things I wanted to deal with, I think. Yeah, I just wanted to talk a little bit about so the Amazing Atheist was talking about how he's going to sue this Tommy Sotomayor, and, because he DMCA'd. And as I've pointed out before, I believe in fair use. I mean, I believe in playing a video and making serious commentary, and if you can use somebody else's content to do something called satire, which kind of has to be funny, okay? It can't just be malicious. You can't just bully or ridicule or insult somebody. You have to do it in some kind of way that could be reasonably perceived as, I'm just taking light fun. I'm just making light fun. And that's kind of what you have to do if you're going to play somebody else's content, because they're the owner of the content, okay? Until they say you can have it, you sort of have to obey some sort of respect rules. And not covered under fair use is any kind of malicious use. So if you use somebody else's content to bully them or harass them or just gratuitously insult them or attempt to damage their stream or damage their performance art or damage their ability to perform their performance art, you're the one in violation of the law. See, that's how it fucking works. And I don't think that's unfair standard, right? I think malicious should not be considered fair use. Right, you have to have like one of those good purposes. Like I want to educate and I'm not going to make money. That's another problem with TJ's whole theory. His whole show is dependent on finding people to insult and berate for his profit. So he really does, like a network, kind of have to get a written consent. You can't just take. Right? Alright, but the more important issue is, like, let's say this Tommy Sotomayor guy, you could actually demonstrate with some sort of evidence that he actually knew he had no right to claim a copyright violation, which I don't think you have a chance in hell, because it is a little bit reasonable that he would say, what are you using my content for to just buffoon and insult and degrade me for your profit? No, this is my content. Make your own stuff to do that with. That's not covered under fair use. But even if he was totally wrong and he was totally malicious in his effort to hurt you, the problem is you sit there and do the follow-up show where you actually filming yourself lying and maliciously trying to interfere with the conduct of his business, of his performance art, of his production of content, as TJ would call it, or something. And you deliberately did that based on lying and clearly what anybody would interpret as malicious intent. I mean, grotesque just harassment. Let me destroy his chat. Let me do this, do that. These are all aggressive acts that no way are going to be covered under some sort of that's your right as a commentator, is to send your minions to attack somebody. And then he talks about drop docking when that's exactly what they did. They had a bunch of people in the chat and they just, Tommy from the Bronx said, hey, that guy just gave us the address. That guy just gave us this. Hey, look, we're getting all this information from these people. They're docking the Sotomayor guy right in front of everybody. So they're doing the very thing they're complaining about. It's just amazing bullshit. So yes, if somebody wants to wager like a big giant pile of money that TJ's lawsuit will never, ever, ever happen. Because when he does consult a lawyer's going to say, holy fuck, you're the one in trouble. You make a follow-up video where you just violate the law all over the place, you dumbasses. You can't do that shit and claim you're a victim, you stupid cunt. So, it was a little bit funny. But really, this is just such a fucked up world. No, shut up. It's raining out, you dumbass. You don't want to go out. It's really shitty here. We haven't had much rain. It's just raining too much now. No, anyway. It's always some kind of shit like that. So, yeah. So the real subject of the video, I don't think is going to be answered by a Brett Keane. You know, and I don't think anybody else has any guts to try to take on the actual subject of the fact of unintelligent design and what that means. What it means for people smart enough to know what the consequences of an unintelligent design are. Yeah. So, but for all the life defenders, really, go ahead. Let me hear your explanation of how it's a really good idea to create a system that kills most things as children. That sounds like a wonderful plan. Killing children. Kill the children. I mean, we could have a little slogan and everything. We could sell the idea, right? Promote it. Let's do that on another planet. Let's create Kill the Children on another planet. It'd be so wonderful. Fake Sagan liked to do that. Idiots. So anyway, yeah. So enough of the video. I think it's enough. There's no. I don't. Like I said, I really don't need to respond to the lame insults of Brett Keane. I mean, you can't get a more broken, crud-covered, slimy, smelly, crappy black pot ever to call anything else anything. I mean, his house isn't just glass; it's ass. Yeah, it's just, you know, all the way down and all the way up. And really doesn't have a business throwing no Estona. But anyway, enough of a video. Until next time. But Brett, you're too fucking stupid. Just shut up. Go find something more your speed to talk about. Like, I'm sure there's something. No, sorry, can't think anything. So, till next time, and such.